everyone, I'm Allie. Join me as I show you how to do this pearl shine necklace. It is a really easy bezel. You can make it into a brooch or into a pendant or even a smaller version for earrings, and teaching a nice way to just do a really fast bezel. Remember, if you need any supplies, go ahead and look below the video. In the description, we'll put links there back to our website so you can gather everything up. Gather up your materials and let's get started. So to get started, I have a size 10 English beading needle with size 8 dragon thread in the white color. And I have about 4 feet of that, along with some 6mm glass pearls, 4mm glass pearls, 11 O's, 15 O's, my 18mm Rivoli, and some 4mm crystals. We're going to begin with the interior ring. And the interior ring is going to consist of 20 of my 11 O seed beads. So I'm going to put on 4 groups of 5. That's how I think it's easiest to kind of calculate. And once we have those on, we're going to create basically little, almost like fingers that stick out of it. So we're going to put on all 20 of our pieces here. And then once I know for a fact I have on 20, we're going to bring it down towards the bottom of our thread. And we are going to tie it into a loop. This is going to be the very back of our Rivoli bezel and kind of be the base for everything to hold on to. So I'm going in here and I'm tying right over left, left over right, and doing my opening ring there. Once you have your opening ring, you are going to create little extensions off of the ring. So I'm going in now and opening up my 15 O seed beads, pouring some of those out, and we're going to create 10 extensions coming out of this first ring here. You're going to sew through 2 of your 11 O's and bring your needle out after those 2 11 O's. Add 1 more 11, followed by 5 of your 15 O seed beads, followed by 1 11. Let that all fall down next to that interior ring. Skip over the last 11 that you just added, and sew back through the 5 11 O's, or 5 15 O's rather, the 1 11 O, and then sew over through the next 2 11s from that interior row. This is going to be our little first finger, or our first little disc that sits out. We're going to repeat this a total of 10 times, doing 1 11, 5 15s, 1 11, letting it sit down next to that interior loop, going back through the 5 15s as well as the first 11 O seed bead, and then sewing through the next 2 11s and out. Here's 2 of these little kind of fans. We're going to do a total of 10 of those, so 8 more to go. After creating the 10 beams, basically, what we're going to do is go to the top of one of them. So I'm back to the start here, and I'm going to go up to the top of the first one that I've created, through the 11 O, that's right after, through the 15s, and out through the 11 O at the top. Once we're out the 11 O here at the top, we are going to connect all of those 11 O's. Don't really worry about which direction they're sitting. They will start to correct as we add in the 6 millimeter pearls in between each. We're going to end up with 10 pearls that are connecting the tops of all of those beams. So we're going to go into a pearl, into the next 11 O, add the pearl, into the next 11 O. So you're going to do this the whole way around, adding just one of these 11 O's in along the top. One 6 millimeter pearl along the top. These pearls then will show exposed on the exterior of the 18 millimeter Rivoli. So you're just going the whole way around, adding all 10. Once you get all 10 added, it's going to sit in a tiny bit of a cup formation, which we want. And then we're going to add in some of our 4 millimeter pearls to bring towards the front of the design, which is going to hold the Rivoli in place in the front. This is our back netting or web that sits along the back of the design, and the crystal will sit nestled inside. Once you have all 10 of the pearls on, go back through that first 11-0 seed bead, through the first 6mm pearl, second 11-0 seed bead, and out through the second pearl. And you can see that sits just ever so slightly cupped, and our crystal is going to sit nicely right in the center. Coming out that second pearl, I want you to grab 1, 2, and 3 11-0s, followed by 1 15-0, and then pick up one of your 4mm pearls. 1 15-0 and 3 11-0s get added. You're going to go back through that same pearl that your thread is currently coming out of from the opposite angle. So we're coming out the top there, I'm going into the bottom, sewing over then in through the next 11-0, in through the next pearl, next 11-0, and out the following pearl. We're going to decorate the top of every other pearl, so we're going to have 5 of those pearls that we add to the top. 3 of our 11s followed by 1 15, 1 pearl, 1 15, 3 11s, back through the one our thread is currently coming out of, rounding out, and then along the top of those pearls, skipping over the next one and adding it to the next one in line. We're going to add these again, 3 more of them along every other of our 6mm exterior pearl. Once you get finished with the 5 pearls, the smaller pearls along the bigger ones, we are going to go into that first one and out through the pearl. So I'm going into that first 6mm bead. I'm going to sew up in through the seed bead collection of the 3 11s, the 1 15, and I'm going to let my thread and needle exit out the pearl. Now, if you put your 18mm Rivoli in the center there, you can see as we fold the pearls down into place, they're going to work to hold our piece exactly in place the way that it needs to be, connecting these center pearls. The center pearls are going to be connected. You can either connect it with another 4mm pearl, or you can grab out your bicones here. I'm going to grab out my bicone, and I have the here the Floral Opal AB, more of like a gray AB color. Beautiful. Add a 15-0, one of your 4mm beads, 15-0, and sew over to the next pearl. Remember, there's 5 of them, and we're going to bring them all towards the center there. 15, crystal, 15, into that next pearl, and in towards the center. It's going to look a little bit like a sea flower here, just holding that crystal in place in the middle, making sure as you're going along the outer edge that you're just catching onto the pearls. And as you go through and get ready to go through the first pearl again, you're going to make sure that you have that crystal that's getting added. And then once again into that first pearl. After doing so, I want you to reinforce going through all of those one more time. So you're going to go back through your beads that you just added, as well as through the crystals and the pearls one more time. And what that's going to do is just tighten up this bezel ever so slightly and make sure that your Rivoli is not going to escape from this beautiful crystal bezel. Now what we're going to do is decorate the outside of our piece. So we're going to go down through the 11-0, 15-0 and 11-0s along the side of the piece here. And we're going to sew into our pearl and come out after our first 11-0. Now remember, those 11-0s that are next to the 6mm pearls are the original ones that were part of our little spacers here connecting. We're going to use those and go over top of the pearls to add in a little bit of extra bling. You're going to add 1 and 2 of our 11-0s along with a, 1 and 2 15-0s and 11-0, the 4mm, 11, 2 15s, skip over the pearl and into the next 11-0 seed bead. You notice that when I sew through here to kind of get into that interior area, I'm going through on an angle to get from one to the other 11-0s. See how that just goes in and decorates the exterior nicely? I'm going to do the same thing again. 1 and 2 of our 15 O's, followed by 1 of our 11 O's, followed by a pearl, or sorry, a crystal, an 11 O, 2 15 O's, and on to the next 11 that sits between the pearls and out. What this is going to do again is just kind of give that exterior look of the crystal along the outside, and then we'll go in and we'll add our pearl to finish off our little pendant here. Once you're done putting the 10 4mm beads along the edge here, you're going to get ready to do your necklace portion. Now, if you want to, you can also go back through and go through one more time and add some pearls in between each. I'm going to keep it pretty simple since it's already got a lot of bling and everything going on. And what I'm going to do is take my needle and thread, and I want to go up into one of these first sections of my piece that I did here. So one of these first little sections of my crystals. And I'm going to do one side and then I'll come back and do the other side. You can also obviously do this without doing the necklace portion and just put a bail on it. I'm going to go in here and alternate adding in some of my color and my 6mm to give myself a little bit of that necklace line as well. Once you have the strand or the side exactly where you want it to be, and I did mine a simple pattern of 15 O's in between basically every section of pearl and crystal. So pearl crystal, I alternated putting an 11 O on each side. You can see that nice kind of baby blue color there. And then I just used one pearl in the front still to bring the focus up to the front. I'm going to use a plain old spring ring in the back, and a piece of chain is attached to it going right through it. And then I'm going to loop through once, twice again. You can use a wire guard if you want as well. I'm going to make sure that I have a couple pieces going through it. I'm going to go back through the piece then. And what that is going to allow me to do is go back to the front, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. On the other side, when I do it, I'm going to attach directly to a little piece of chain. And this is just a scrap of chain that I had sitting around. That way I can make the necklace adjustable as I'm working through it here. Again, going back through then the whole piece after looping through multiple times and making sure that I have no extra thread showing. I'm going to add a little bit of extra thread here to go back towards the front, back through that crystal there at the front, and make the chain match on the opposite side. Once you're done both sides, you can bring your thread back down towards the interior to that starter thread that we tied the knot in, and then completely just go in and burn the thread edge down. This is a beautiful little piece with very little effort. The bezel is really, really fast and quick, and you don't have to battle at all with how that is fitting in. Nice rendition that you can make in a bunch of different sizes, with just some 6mm, 4mm. You can even do it all with pearls or all with crystals for the 4s if you want to switch it out. And I like that it has the extender chain on it that I can make it shorter or longer as I wear it. Remember to do your versions of this and post it in our Facebook group for beading and joy making, because I love to see all the different color combos that people come up with. Thanks so much for joining me in creating this pearl shine necklace. It really is a very simple bezel that you could do with gemstones, or you could do it with all crystals as well if you wanted to get away from that pearl look. Remember, you can do it as a bail, you can do it independently. You don't have to put it as the necklace, but I like that it's an all-in-one. If you do need any supplies, remember below the video, there is a link there to get back to our website. If you haven't already, also hit that little subscribe button so you don't miss anything from us here at Potomac Beads. Thanks so much for watching the Pearl Shine necklace, and stay tuned for more inspirational designs.